Yeah, there's like a huge debate on Twitter about like Budew should get banned. But then
Yeah.
like the other half is like saying you just need to build your deck. Budew adds a different layer to the game and it separates like the skill level of players. I feel like this is a very like cliche answer, but I think it's just like it's constantly you're always on the job like 24/7. I'm always like what videos I need to make this week, what videos I need to edit, what decks do I have to look up. Eventually that got burnt out just because I ran out of ideas, like ran out of decks, ran out of money to buy packs. So eventually I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna take a break. Me and my group, we just like, what deck are we playing, trying to narrow down to like what do we think is probably, I would say, top 5 most played deck or top 5 best decks. And then as the time gets closer, maybe like 2 weeks before the regional, that's when we finally all have time to come together and just play like multiple best of 3s in between each other. For the TCG community competitively, everyone's on Twitter, and I think my hottest take is like, don't ever go on Twitter.
If someone was listening to this podcast right now and had no idea who you were, how would you describe yourself?
What's up, guys? My name is Win. People call me Royalillest or Pokemon Trainer Win, but I do have my username as Royalillest. I create a lot of Pokemon TCG content. You can find things like deck guides, vlogs of me going to my local tournaments. You can find me opening packs, all sorts of Pokemon TCG stuff.
Awesome. And I know we talked a little bit before the podcast and, you know, through DMs and stuff. You're pretty competitive in the Pokemon space, right?
Mm-hmm. You can say that.
You can say that. Oh, you're being too humble. But we'll get into that more. We'll get into that more later. And just like a question that I like to throw out there for my guest. Do you remember your first time interacting with Pokemon?
It's kind of hard. I was definitely really young. For me, I actually didn't grow up, or I was born in Vietnam. So I think my first interaction was when my parents brought back, like, I believe it was like a shirt that has, I don't know what Pokemon it was. It could have been Charmander, but the color was like completely different. And then for some reason, I love that shirt. And then as I just got older, I know when I moved to America, I remember watching it on TV. I believe it's called, was it 4Kids TV?
Yeah, 4Kids with a Z. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, something like that. And I just got hooked with it. And then eventually I just got into the card game, or not even the card game, just like collecting it, and then all the toys as well.
Gotcha. Was there ever like a dip in between like times where you like got into really into Pokemon and then you didn't interact with Pokemon for a while and then get back into it?
There was definitely a dip. When I was younger, it's definitely Pokemon, and then as I get into like my teenage years, I would say I switched more into Yu-Gi-Oh. And then I think it was Yu-Gi-Oh all the way till college. And then it was Pokemon back, I think around a little bit after COVID, or during COVID, actually.
Gotcha. And then you've been with Pokemon ever since?
Yes, like Pokemon is now my life.
That's what I'm talking about. All right. So first things first, I want to talk about content creation because that's actually how I found you through your videos on YouTube Shorts. So I have right here, you built an audience with over 20,000 followers on Instagram and 53,000 followers on TikTok. My first question to you is, what was your mindset when first starting out creating content?
Dude, honestly, like the first time, I don't think like anyone ever like really had like an idea of what they're doing or like why they're doing it. For me, at least, it was just like, hey, I'm owning these packs. Why not just post these and see what happens? And then as we keep posting, eventually something happens where one video blows up, and now here we are today on a podcast talking about it.
Nice. I like that. So I mean, you really didn't have, so what I'm getting at is that you didn't really have a plan, but you just kept posting consistently and you found your plan through there.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I did before Pokemon, or even like before me just creating content, I always did like making stuff. I am a graphic designer, and I also created like dance videos here and then and like other stuff. So eventually I was like, why not start doing Pokemon? And since we did blow up, therefore we just keep going with it, right?
Right. So it sounds like you did like a bunch of different things to see what worked out, or you just did it just to do it, and then Pokemon just happened to blow up and you just stuck with Pokemon because it blew up, right?
Yeah, the second option. I have like excuse me, I have a lot of like different passions, of course,
right?
but then I try to like create that and make it a thing, if that makes sense. But yeah, Pokemon's a thing that eventually became, like I said, my full time life.
Gotcha. So I asked Baby Pokey the same thing, and I wanted to ask you, uh, what what was the single piece of content
Mhm.
that made you very surprised with how well it performed?
The one piece of content that basically it blew me up is because I made a how to play the Pokemon TCG. Honestly, like I felt like there's already like videos, especially on YouTube, I guess like longer forms where they have like how to play the card game already. So I was like, I don't think this video is gonna do well, but I'm gonna do it anyways. I don't think it has it on TikTok yet, and I made, I believe it was 3 parts. It was supposed to be more, but I kind of got lazy because it does take a little long to create. Like I have to sit down, write everything down, make sure I'm not like saying anything incorrectly, which I did during my how to play the TCG. But yeah, part 1 blew up. I believe I got like 1 million views on TikTok. Part 2 and 3 did okay, and then eventually, even now, excuse me, even till today, people are still asking me, "Hey, where's part 4?" I'm like, "It's coming soon. Don't worry." But yeah, that's the one piece of content that blew up. It's just how to play the trading card game.
Okay, there's a couple of things. First of all, people are still asking for the part 4. You said today. Is that right?
Yes,
That's
till this
crazy.
day.
That is
It'll
crazy.
be like once in a while, I'll get a
Okay.
comment. It's on all platforms, like, where's part 4? I was like, it's coming. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry.
Wow, it's that good. So, well, I still have okay. There's so much packed in there that I want to ask. So I'll just start with the from the beginning. That blew you up.
Hmm.
And what I'm getting at is that it blew up because you did something that was already on YouTube or something like the longer form, but it wasn't on TikTok in the short form videos yet. So that's why you
Hmm.
think it blew up. Is that right?
Yeah, I feel like short form content is like king right now, or like in general for like the past a year or two. So I feel like at least like the newer generation, they only watch short form content. So that is what kind of like gave me the virality. Is that the right word?
Yeah, going viral on
Yeah.
like short form
Yeah.
stuff. Mm.
Yeah, because I definitely want to like I said, people are still messaging me about part 4, but I do want to just convert it into like a long form video because to me, I think long form videos stay around a lot longer than short form.
Yeah, I think so to piggyback on that, I think I realized that like short form content creators don't stay around as long.
Hmm.
But the long form like YouTube, like the I mean, how can I word this? Like it's harder to break into long form content, if you know what I mean.
Agreed.
But if you
Agreed.
break into that content, I think you stick around. Your likelihood of sticking around is much higher. I don't know if you agree with that.
Hmm. No, I agree with that. I feel like short form, it's like you blow up just for like 1 or 2 videos maybe, and then after a while, they're like, "Who is this guy?" Yeah. So I tried really hard to convert my TikTok followers slash like fans to YouTube. Same with Instagram as well.
No, I think it's a good idea. I kind of see it like a funnel where like you take your short
Mhm.
form, like that's like your mass, everyone like the most amount of people are gonna see it, and then people that follow you can. You know what? I actually noticed with you that you show your YouTube videos on your story and you promote it a lot, which I think is a good idea. Do you see like a
Mhm.
viewer bump, or do you see like a increased subscribers when you do that?
Um, I don't really like because for me, I try not to look at my subscribers
Hmm.
slash like views as much because if I do, I'm like stuck on it. Like, why is my video only have like 200 views at like an hour in?
Hmm.
So I try not to. So I don't see the noticeable difference, but I do know at least for YouTube, the analytics does. When I do advertise it on Instagram,
Hmm.
it does help a little bit, but it doesn't help with the what do you call it?
Like
The
video
watch time.
retention. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, because
Hmm.
people might click on it and then it backs it out.
Hmm.
So YouTube thinks like, oh, this guy doesn't like your video, and it might not even like. Yeah, sometimes it's not good to advertise on other platforms apparently,
Okay.
because
Did you hear that from
people
like
would
other
click
content
on it.
creators? Is that what they say?
Yeah,
Okay, interesting.
and then I noticed that myself too.
Okay.
because I used to post right away whenever I make a long form YouTube video. I'm like, okay, guys, I just made a new video. Go check it out. And then the views is kind of like chilling compared to like if I don't advertise it in the first like I don't know few days, YouTube just does its own like algorithm and just other people can watch the content from there. That's like better in a way. That makes sense.
That's actually interesting that you bring up. I guess the short form people, they can't sit around to watch like a 10-20 minute video on YouTube, and vice versa. Like YouTubers, maybe they really can't. Like they just want to sit down and watch a full YouTube video then rather than scrolling through 100 TikToks and stuff. That's actually really interesting you brought up. Because I guess because those or not platforms, but the way that content is made is so different from each other. That actually makes so much sense. That just clicked in my head right now. So have you been? So are you still like showing your stuff off on like Instagram stories and stuff, or have you been like relaxed on that and just letting the YouTube algorithm figure people out?
Yeah, I've been more relaxed. I do advertise it once in a while later on. So for example, let's say I make a specific deck video on YouTube. I'll give it maybe like 3 to maybe a week or 3 days to a week. And then I would post a short of that deck list. And then I'll advertise, put that on my story and said, hey, if you want to watch more or like understand how to play this deck, you can go to my YouTube. But other than that, I don't try to advertise at all about my YouTube. Unless you can put like, oh, here's my YouTube channel, but I'm not going to put a specific video because I feel like that click, if they're not watching the video fully or like at least halfway, it's going to ruin your algorithm for sure.
Yeah. Damn, that's a good point. I did not think about it like that, but that's like putting 2 and 2 together. It makes complete sense when you put it that way. So speaking of growing like a YouTube channel or like even just a brand around you, my question to you is, what's something that most people might not see behind the scenes that is actually very important to creating like a brand like yours?
I feel like this is a very like cliche answer, but I think it's just like it's constantly you're always on the job, like 24/7. I'm always like thinking about, okay, what can I make? What videos I need to make this week? What videos I need to edit? What decks do I have to look up? Especially in like Pokemon TCG, you gotta look up. Oh, there's new cards coming out. There's new meta. There's so many things. I don't think maybe I have like 1 day of rest, but other than that, it's constantly just content / Pokemon in my head.
Gotcha. So it's like, so basically it's a full-time job. Like your brain is never really
more.
off. Your brain
full-time job plus more.
Oh my goodness, right.
Overtime.
Yep. So I mean that makes sense. Like there's some content creators that are, that say like once you're in content creation, your brain never really turns off because it's like how like I could be doing this right now. I could like for example, like I won't give a specific example because I don't really know Pokemon, but she said something very similar to that. And I won't speak on her behalf, but I think what she says is very true because I've seen many content creators say that. It's like, how can I turn this thing into content? Or why am I doing this? I could be doing content. It's like that thing. I don't know if you get that type of
no, 100%.
Mindset. Yeah.
Like if I'm traveling, like, all right, I need a vlog. But if I'm vlogging, I need to include some way to incorporate Pokemon because that's my niche. So it's like, it never ends for sure.
Does it feel like you're like it's a mean word to say, but does it feel like you're wasting time when you're not working and you're not making content? Like either or, does it feel like wasting time?
It does feel like you're wasting time when you're not making content.
Right.
Especially, I think for me, since I became more of like deck building / like creating new decks or finding new decks, I feel like if I'm not making that video right away, there's definitely going to be other content creators out there that are doing the same thing. So of course, like other people is going to be like, oh, I'm going to watch this guy since he already posted it. And by the time I post my video, they'll be like, oh, I already seen this deck, so why watch the same video twice? So that's like the biggest struggle I think I have right now, where it's like there's a lot of Pokemon creators out there and you need to be like always on your A game or else you're going to slowly fall behind.
Well, I would say that you're actually like one of the biggest content creators for the competitive TCG. I don't know if you agree with that, but I would say so.
I think I would not agree with that just because there is a lot of other creators out there,
Okay.
especially ones that do. I think, at least for me, my audience is definitely people that are just starting to get into the game, are just are they're in the game already, but they still need just a little boost to try to like improve their gameplay. While there are other creators out there that are like extremely good at the game and they have a lot more views than me, a lot more subscribers, and all that.
Gotcha.
Or even just like there's other creators that do like fun decks as well, which I think they.
There's a niche for that
But
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Like, is it the Wiggle? No, not Wiggle. It's like the Wug Trio mill
the Wug
decks. I
Trio,
always
all
see
that stuff.
those. Like, it's funny because it's such a small niche, but it's such a loud crowd. Do you know what I mean? Like for
Yeah, for
those
sure.
fun decks.
But it's fun to watch either way. I'm always looking at those decks. I'm like, oh, maybe I should play this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I wouldn't consider myself one of the top competitive Pokemon TCG creator, if that makes sense. But I think I would consider myself like up there in terms of a content creator, a Pokemon content creator.
Like in the general Pokemon space, you're pretty big.
Yeah,
Is that what
I'm
yeah.
top eight, top
Top
eight.
top eight. Man, I'm trying to think about like who else would be bigger than you in the so for
So
context, I oh go ahead.
yeah, I don't know if you know, have you seen him? His name is Azul
So
GG.
I've actually met him. He was at
Yeah,
Orlando
yeah, I met him too.
last year.
He's actually he's like one of the top players in NA,
Right.
and yeah, I mean that proves itself. Like if you're the top player, of course people are gonna watch you and understand like, oh, I'd rather watch this guy over another guy. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. But I want to, man, I want to talk about I want to talk about the what happened in Atlanta, but I'm gonna save that because I have just one more question about content creation, and then we'll move on to
Mhm.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
But man, I have so many questions. I'm so excited to talk to you about Atlanta and how that went for you. Okay, last question. Last question before we get on to Atlanta.
Mhm.
Have you ever dealt with burnout or creative blocks during your content creation? And if you have, how do you deal with it?
I've actually dealt with it a few times. The first time was mainly was it was still on TikTok, where I didn't really post as much on YouTube, but I was already getting burnt out by just creating shorts. My goal back in TikTok was just one TikTok a day. Eventually, that got burnt out just because I ran out of ideas, like ran out of decks, ran out of money to buy packs. Um, so eventually, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna take a break. I didn't even like announce it or anything. I just took, I believe it might have been close to a month where I took a break, no content or anything, did whatever else, like play games, hang out with my friends, spend time with family, all that stuff. And then eventually came back on TikTok, and it just felt like nothing has changed, especially like in TikTok, where it's like, oh, he's back, but no one really noticed you were gone, you know? And then that's after that was when I started creating content on YouTube. And as I created more stuff on YouTube, it got even more burnt out because like now you're making long form content, you're making short form content. You have to post. For me, YouTube, I try to do 2 videos a week. Back then, when I first started, I did 1 a week, but now it's 2 a week, plus the shorts, plus all the other stuff that you have to do, like traveling and everything. It does get a lot more burnt out. And as far as YouTube, I just, from my burnt out, what I did was I cut back on the shorts. I said, I'm going to focus on long form. So let's do 2 videos a week for long form, which that takes long form content takes a lot longer to create than shorts. Shorts takes me maybe like 10 minutes max, like 5 minutes record, straight into my computer, edit it right away. But long form takes me a lot of planning, a lot of the editing takes like, I would say one video probably takes me an hour to edit. And other than that, yeah, just cut down the shorts. And then now I feel like I'm a little less burnt out. But at the same time, it's still deep down, I'm very tired. But what gets me going is literally like the build, like the community that I built, or like the fan base that I have is honestly so nice. Because I remember there was one video that I created, and I was sick at the time, so I was coughing a lot. And then I mentioned that I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, guys, I'm sick. Excuse the cough." And then someone commented, they said, dude, if you're sick, take a break. We'll be here. I'm like, okay, you know what? You guys are so nice. Like, but that keeps me going. Like comments like that, even though when I'm like sick, I'm like, I'm gonna keep going. Even when they said it's okay. But yeah, I hope that answers the question.
No, it does for sure, and that's actually really sweet of that person just commenting, making sure that you're okay and you put yourself first before your audience, and they'll
Yeah.
treat you right back. They'll give you that sentiment back. That's cool.
Yeah, I really do appreciate the people that watch my stuff.
Okay. Okay. So, man, I'm so excited to talk about Atlanta, but
Oh, it was a wild ride for me in Atlanta.
yeah, I think you told me a little bit about it, but
Mhm.
let's just give a little bit of context to the audience.
Mhm.
For the people who don't know, how did you get into playing Pokemon competitively, and what was your origin story as a player?
All right, do you want the deep answer or the short answer?
It's a podcast, man. So
Okay.
yeah, go for it. Go for it.
All right. So the deep answer is I'm a very competitive person. For as long as I've been, I don't know, since a teenager, I play a lot of video games, and whatever video games I play, I try to be like the best at it. And I actually started playing Yu-Gi-Oh first over Pokemon because Pokemon when I was younger, I was just collecting, and then for some reason, when we were younger, no one knew how to play Pokemon. We're just like, oh, this Charizard has more HP, it's stronger than you, you win, whatever. But yeah, I started with Yu-Gi-Oh first. Um, when I got into college, I went to my local card shop and started playing I wouldn't say competitively, it's more casual at first, and then eventually I did get into more of like I believe I don't know what it's called back in the day, but it was Yu-Gi-Oh regional, which I think it's called YCS now. I could be mistaken. So I got into that. I think the best I did was like top maybe 300. I only been to 2 regionals for Yu-Gi-Oh, and then I did pretty well at locals. But eventually the game got so stale to me. It's just like cards were getting expensive if you want to build the best deck, and then if you want to just sit there for like one turn and watch your opponent do like 1,000 things, go ahead, play Yu-Gi-Oh, be my guest. And then eventually during COVID was when I started collecting Pokemon cards again, and then me and my other friend, his name is Steven, shout out to him if he's watching this, we were just like, why don't we just start playing Pokemon? Like, we have a bunch of bulk. Like, all right, yeah, I'm down. So started forming decks, went to our first local, got smacked like crazy. But for some reason, I'm not trying to like insult the community or anything, but the Pokemon community is a lot nicer than Yu-Gi-Oh. So even though like I thought I was getting destroyed, like these people that I just met was so nice to me. They introduced me into like their group and everything, taught me how to play better. Then eventually started going to more locals, and then I was blessed enough to have Orlando Regional, or they have regional in Orlando like every year except for this year. And I went to my first one, and I think that's like sparked like my more of my competitiveness, even though I did really horrible my first time. But yeah, it's just after that regional, I just like, you know what, I'm gonna try. I want to make it to Worlds, but we'll see from there. And that's my little origin story.
Still working on it, right?
Yeah, I'm still working
Getting
on
your
it.
invite to Worlds.
Yeah, I was trying to this year, but they did change the format of how it works, so it's a little rough.
Yeah, but we'll get into the format and stuff later if we want to talk about it. So just for a little more context, that was what year? Which Atlanta regionals? Their first one?
It was Orlando Regional. The first
sorry.
one was what year is it? It's 2015, 20. I think it was 2023. I could be wrong, or 2024.
So, you just started last year.
I've been playing Pokemon competitively for 3 years.
Right. Okay, there we go. 3 years.
So I think it's
2024 or 2023 sounds about right.
I think it's 2023. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It was my first regional.
Awesome. So, as some people may know, me definitely, you went to Atlanta to play in the Atlanta Regionals, I believe just last week, actually.
Yes, just came back this week.
First question, how did your run go? And give us the full breakdown.
All right. My run was a little bittersweet, I would say. So should I give out like how like the regional works, kind of?
Sure. Yeah, that's actually a good point. So yeah, give us some context on how regional works.
So for regional, it's usually a 2-day event. Your goal is to get a certain points to make it to the second day, and a win is 3 points, a tie is 1 point, and a loss is 0 points. For Atlanta regional, your goal was to get 19 points in a total of 9 rounds. So yeah, let's start with that. My goal was to get 19 points. I made day 2 before once, and my goal was just to get that back again, because that's like, it's not like the biggest deal, but as a new player, like everyone wants to make day 2, of course. So I went 4-0. I beat 4 people. I 2-0 them, feeling good. My opponents were actually really nice to me too. Some of them watched my content, all that good stuff. Riding the high. And then eventually I hit round 5. Shout out to him too. He watched my content, but sat down. He flips over. It was a snow run, which is, what's the evolution of that snow run?
Frostlass, is that right?
Frostlass, yeah.
Right.
So it's a Frostlass deck, which I had no practice for because I did not expect to face any of this. And little did I know, I got smacked by him 0-2, which put me at a record of 4-1. So it's like, I actually did really, it's like most regional that I've been to, it was always like, oh, I won one, I tied one, I lost one, won another one. So it's like very like roller coaster. But for this regional, I went 4-0, then boom, crashed to 1. I was like, oh no, this is where I start choking. I will not make day 2. So yeah, at 4-1, my points are at I'm at 12 points right now. Then in the next game, I actually tied that game, which was unfortunate. But regardless, I think I was in a losing battle, so taking that tie was not too bad. And then I won my next game because it's just an easy matchup for me. A lot of practice against it. So now I'm at 5-1-1, which is 15,
16 points, I believe.
16 points. So I have 2 more rounds left. I just need 1 more win in order to get 19 points for day 2. And then we have 2 rounds left, like I said. The next round, unfortunately, we hit the tie. And I was actually sitting right next to my teammate. And he also needed 1 win to make day 2. And I just see our friends clapping in the back as he gets up right next to me. I'm like, all right, he made it. But I tied that game. And then my very last game, unfortunately, I did not take the win. I got 0-2. So my final record was 5-2-2, which is like 18 points? No, 17 points. So I whiffed day 2, which is fine. Pokemon, at least for this season, they still give out packs or like prizing for top 512, I believe. And then I think I placed around 300 something. So I got 9 packs of Searching Sparks, which is pretty nice.
I mean,
But yeah, that was how it went.
yeah, like you mentioned, it was bittersweet, but like it sounds like if
I feel like,
oh, go ahead.
yeah, as like a competitor, I feel like I rather just like either you lose really early and know that you are not in contention, or like you're like, for me, when I was in round 7, I was like, oh, I just need to win 1 more game, just 1 more game. And then that win never came, and it just felt so painful. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I get it. No, trust me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty competitive too, but like in not Pokemon necessarily, but like in other video games. I used to take like League of Legends super seriously at one point. And I totally
it's like
I hate losing like
League,
a super
like,
close game, like a 50-minute game. Then I'd rather just get stomped at 20. Let's stop at 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, trust me, I totally get it. It like you said, it's bittersweet. That was the one word you probably describe your run.
Yeah, for sure. I had a good time though in Atlanta.
Yeah, like outside of Pokemon, or during the event.
During the event, plus outside as well. Good foods, good meeting people, good meeting all like the people that watch my content and all that stuff.
So I know I don't think you mentioned it, but what deck for like the Pokemon nerds out there that are really into Pokemon, what deck did you decide to play at Atlanta Regionals, and why did you choose it for this event?
I chose Gholdengo EX, aka Make It Rain. Whenever Gholdengo EX first came out, it was actually like the deck I wanted to play, or like I just had a great time, or like not a great time, but like a fun time playing it. When it first came out, it wasn't like as good, but as like the meta progresses, it became better and better. And for Atlanta Regional, I forgot to mention this earlier, but it was the first regional that rotation happens, and rotation is basically like when Pokemon set which cards are allowed to play. So from one set to another set, or to the current set. So not a lot of people knew. Well, some people knew what they were doing, but I felt like Gholdengo was like the safe pick, especially that I've played it for so long, and knowing that also Dragapult, for anyone that are really into the are a Pokemon nerd, as Phil would say, but Dragapult was like the expected number one deck for Atlanta Regional, and I think Gholdengo has a pretty good time into it. The only rough matchup that Gholdengo has is Terrabox, which is like I would call it like the hype deck, the up and coming deck that people were like, oh, this is going to be the best deck. But unfortunately, I don't think it performed well. And we didn't even hit those. So unfortunately, yeah, that's why I chose Gholdengo. My favorite deck, plus it's really fun to play. And my comfort pick too.
That's good. I don't think they lost too much in the rotation, right? They lost what, Pokestop maybe, and a few other
Yeah,
things.
Pokestop and Greninja.
Those are the big two, and that's really it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a safe pick then. If you're only losing 2 cards.
Mm-hmm. The only thing was like the other deck that was like kind of hard for us was any sort of wall deck, because we did lose Canceling Cologne, which cancels a Pokemon's ability for a turn. So wall decks literally can stop Gholdengo from attacking. But unfortunately, I did not face any like straight up wall deck. But we did have to go through a Cornerstone, which is like, it literally, the ability says, if your Pokemon has ability, it does not do any damage to me. So those are some rough times.
Yeah, I can assume so.
Yeah.
Man, I forgot Canceling Cologne got rotated out. That is rough for anyone.
Yeah, it's very rough.
Yeah.
But I think it creates like a more like layers to build deck building, just because like you need to kind of have cards for everything, right? Back then it's like, oh, you have a Canceling Clone, you're fine. But now like for Gholdengo, I had a new card called the Dunsparce EX, which didn't have ability, and it was attacker. That was like the best option that we could get. But yeah,
I know you mentioned. I thought so. You mentioned that if you were, well, maybe I'm misremembering, but on your story, I was looking at it, and you said if you were to change something, you would add the single prizer Gholdengo. Is that correct?
Correct. So for that one is because during your mirror match, which is going against another Gholdengo, the gameplay for how to beat this deck is literally just whoever takes the first 2 prize. You don't want to put out a 2 prizer, because if they take the first 2 prize, it just goes back and forth, because you just keep knocking it out. So if I were to have that baby Gholdengo, I think my run would have been different, just because I could have attacked with that 1 prizer, and that forces your opponent to take a 1 prize. So regardless, it would to be 1 prize, and then you take 2 prize, 2 prize, 2 prize to finish the game. So that's why for that one time game that I had, was because it was a mirror match, and we both took our time, which I should have scooped game 1, because we only have 50 minutes to play a best of 3. I forgot to mention that too. I should have scooped game 1 because he took the first prize, and then game 2 I took the first prize and he didn't scoop, and then we ended up on time. So that became a tie. But yeah, baby Gholdengo for sure.
Right. It's like you want to make their prize mapping very inefficient, like almost taking like 7 prize game.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, for some reason, for me, I didn't think Gholdengo it became the number 2 most played deck in
Really?
the regional.
I did not know that.
Yes. I was expecting it to be number of like 4 or 5. So I did not expect to see too many mirror match. That's why I did not put the baby Dango in there.
I gotcha. So obviously Dragapult was gonna be number 1. That was like the deck to beat. And then I thought it'd be like Terrabox, because everybody in my locals was talking about Terrabox as like this thing to beat Dragapult and beat these other decks. So I'm surprised that Gholdengo's actually even in the top 4, let alone top 2.
Yeah. I think Terrabox like jumped down all the way to like fourth or fifth, I think.
Uh-huh. That's
And then
interesting.
I think, yeah, the third one was Raging Bull, which
That makes sense.
it didn't surprise me
Yeah.
for sure. And
Mhm.
then fourth, I forgot what fourth was.
Was fourth
So
not Terabox? Or
yeah, maybe fourth was Cerebugs.
uh-huh.
And then fifth was
Gardevoir maybe?
Terrapagos.
Oh, really? Was
Yeah, I think
Gardevoir not
Gardevoir
played
was.
too much? Or I thought it'd be good.
It's not.
Or
It's played by like the top players for
yeah,
sure.
that's
So it's
I know
like a
him.
small
Yeah,
small field.
I know who you're talking
Henry
about.
Chao.
Yeah,
Shout out to
he's the
him.
GOAT, man. I love
He is
watching
the
his
goat.
games.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on in his head. Like I'm
No.
watching the final games, I'm
Uh-huh.
like, I would not be doing what he's doing, but he's up there. I'm not.
Hey man, I think it was it Bruce Lee that said, "Don't fear the man with that has 1,000 kicks. Fear the man that practiced that 1,000 kicks one time." Or no, I said
Yes.
that wrong. But that one kick, specific kick 1,000 times, and that's Henry Chao of
Yeah.
Gardevoir.
Agreed. 100%.
Yeah, he's good. Like I think I just love watching him, and like you said, I have no clue what he's doing, but he somehow manages to like pull through every time. I get so
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah. Three regional wins in one season. It's pretty crazy.
All right. Still speaking about regionals, what does your prep look like? Like, I guess the days or even the weeks or even months before regionals.
We'll start off with, I guess, the month before. It's definitely like me and my group. We just like, what deck are we playing? Trying to narrow it down to like, what do we think is probably, I would say, top 5 most played deck or top 5 best decks. And then we all just kind of like play those decks. We all, for some reason, like in my group, a lot of us do decide to play different decks. Like we just like, oh, I like this deck, and then they'll play that one, so we don't have to test that one out. So we get to kind of like split off the different like meta decks, and then as the time gets closer, maybe like 2 weeks before the regional, that's when we finally all have time to come together and just play like multiple best of threes in between each other. And then I think a lot of us, there's some of us that already have like a deck in mind. Like for example, I was pretty set on Gholdengo, but I did have like a second option, which was I believe was Terrabox, and my third option was the Poison Arc. But we just keep testing it out, and then we just kind of narrow it down to like, okay, this deck works well because it has a very good like matchup spread. So you want to play like a deck that don't loses to too many decks, because at the end of the day, there's like 2,000 to 3,000 people at a regional, so the chance of you hitting like that one deck that you might lose to is very slim. And then yeah, and after we all kind of narrowed down to a deck, even to like the day after, or not after, the day before the regional, we're still playing like games after games after games, and we just gotta like figure out all the matchups. At least for our group, we only do the meta decks, which, like I said, which messed me up a little bit because I faced a Frostlass and I had no idea what I was doing. But yeah, just understanding all your matchups and getting comfortable with understanding like all the lines that your deck can handle.
Yeah, I think you brought up a good point, which is like, um, you know, there's like what over 2,000 people that sign up for Atlanta. So your probability of hitting like a non-meta deck is really slim. So you kind of have to weigh the option of practicing against an actual meta deck that you're more likely to run into, then spend that same time practicing against a rogue deck or like a for fun deck. So
Yeah,
would you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me too, because like as we were talking about earlier, Dragapult is the #1 most played deck at Atlanta. I only faced 2, and I practiced that matchup so much. I understand that matchup so much. I built a deck against that deck so much. I only saw 2 out of 9 games.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of people there. So
yeah, so it's funny because card games like Pokemon, in it like already has so much variance with the way it works. It's like you draw random cards, right? You draw like 7 random cards, and then you put 6 down, and like you put like some cards down in the prize cards where it's like very important. So not only is the game very, I want to say dice rolly, but it has quite a bit of variance. Not only that, but outside, like playing in a regional, there's even more variance with what you could run into because, just because the likelihood of playing like against a Dragapult is likely, doesn't mean that it's like you're not gonna run into like a random Frostlass deck.
Yeah, yeah, you're rolling the dice every
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So I think some of the top players actually say like it's more about like running into like the matchups you actually practice against, and even like just having like good matchups, like accidentally running into good matchups.
Mhm.
They say that's a big part in like having a good run. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. But there is, I think, if you're like the one of the like the top tier players, you would know how to get your way, maneuver your way through certain decks, like every certain decks or every decks. I mean, but yeah, it is. Some people just have a easier run than others, but yeah, you can still get through it though.
Mm-hmm. No, I I see that. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just feels really bad when you go against the deck that either you had no idea someone's gonna play, or and or did not practice against it because you know because it was like, why would you?
Yeah.
It just feels
Or you
weird.
keep like facing like your worst matchup.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's generally why people play like the meta decks, because usually they're meta for a reason, which is because they have a 50-50 or above win rate against the other meta decks or other decks.
Mhm. Yeah.
I kind of want to get a hot take from you. Uh,
Mhm.
what what is one deck that you think is completely overhyped right now?
The one deck is it just before Atlanta Regional, people were talking about it a lot on Twitter. It was Terrapagos with Buffalot. I feel like that deck it's good. It's not bad, but it's mainly there just because Terrabox was overhyped. So then they're like, okay, this deck beats Terrabox, but then it doesn't really like have a good not a bad time, but it doesn't have like a strong chance against other decks in the meta. For example, Dragapult, because yes, you beat one deck out of like 10 other decks, which is why I think it's overhyped. Because like Terrapagos literally has to two shot everything. They can't one shot anything that's in the meta right now. Even like Gholdengo, they need to hit Gholdengo twice. While Gholdengo can just hit it for one. Yeah, super overhyped in my opinion. But it's still a good deck.
Would you say that you said Terrapagos? Would you say that it's more? It sounds like it's more of a meta call deck than it is just a
Mhm.
good deck, like just a good deck in general. Would you say that?
Yeah, it's definitely a meta call because I feel like after this regional, you're gonna see a lot less Terrapagos for sure.
Um, you know what? So I don't have this in the notes, but I do want to ask you, because I used
Mhm.
to play this a lot. What happened with Charizard? It's just completely gone now, and I took a break after um, a couple months after. Well, let me see, like around late 2024, and it was like one of the best decks, or I think it was like the deck to
Mhm.
beat in
Mhm.
those regionals, you know, around that time. And I didn't have too much time, so I was just watching regionals and like seeing how that matchup plays out. And then all of a sudden, it just went away. So I kind of want to
Mhm.
hear from someone that's really into the scene what happened to my favorite deck.
Well, the one thing is Budew came out. So when Budew came out, free attack, you cannot use your any items next turn. So that already slows down Charizard from using Rare Candy to evolve Charizard plus Pidgeot EX. And then plus rotation happened. So you're losing cards like Lumineon V, you're losing Rotom V, you're losing Forest Geostone. So that those three cards already is what make Zard so consistent to try to get out your Pidgeot EX. But now without that, it takes maybe like 2 to 3 turns, especially if you get Budew, to try to get Pidgeot out. Maybe get Charizard out. And by the time you get that out, you might be already like your opponent already probably took like 4 prize. Who knows? So it's a really hard time for Zard right now, in my opinion. Just because, like I said, Budew without any items, you cannot do anything, and then you're losing so much consistency.
Okay, side
I
tangent.
hope
I
that answers your
cannot
question.
believe Budew is printed. That
Yeah.
I totally forgot, because I think that's when I heard that card was getting printed in Japan. I was like, I'm not
Hmm.
touching this game again. No, seriously, I think that's when I took the break, because
Yeah.
like how like it almost felt like, I mean, it's not as bad as Yu-Gi-Oh, but it almost feels like Yu-Gi-Oh in a way. It's like, okay, I'm gonna play my whole turn, and then I'm gonna
Hmm.
play like well, in Yu-Gi-Oh terms, four
Yeah.
negates, one Omni negate. You can't play your monsters on this side, and that side, and yeah, go ahead. and it feels
Yeah.
really bad.
Hmm.
So that's why I stopped playing. For context, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh pretty competitively too. Then I switched to
Hmm.
Pokemon because I thought it was like more back and forth and stuff. And then when I heard
Yeah.
Budew came out, I was like, well, we brought Yu-Gi-Oh into Pokemon, so I don't want to play anymore. So that's kind of why I stopped playing. I don't know if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
It's so not as bad as Yu-Gi-Oh, in my
Oh yeah,
opinion.
no, I agree, but I feel
Yeah.
like just because it printed like that, I'm like, I hate Yu-Gi-Oh. This thing reminds me
Hmm.
of Yu-Gi-Oh. I won't play this game, which is Pokemon. So
Yeah, there's like a huge debate on Twitter about like Budew should get banned, but then
yeah,
like the other half is like saying you just need to build your deck to
around
not
Budew.
have a lot of items. Yeah,
Hmm.
which is like
Would
which makes
you
sense, you know.
would you agree with that second part? Just like play around
Yeah,
Budew. Hmm.
I believe because Badoo adds a different layer to the game,
Sure.
making of course the higher, not higher, like the more competitive deck builders, they would know how to get around that over someone that just like, for example, just look at my videos and be like, oh, I'm gonna use this deck at my local tournament. So it's a lot. It adds more layers for sure, and it
Hmm.
separates like the skill level of players.
And I'm getting so what I'm getting is that you think it's good for the game, for Budew to
I
be
think it's good
printed.
for the game.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Gotcha.
But
So
I think it does need something else to like kind of counteract it a little bit.
hmm I just can't
Which
believe it's
a lot of people,
zero attack. It's a free attack with a free retreat. I'm like, come on, like give it something to like make it like at least hard to do something, or it just sounds like the perfect card. It really
yeah, it is.
does.
Now, what I did in my Gholdengo deck was I added a Rocky Helmet, which is
Mm.
like an item that says whenever your opponent's attacks, your opponent Pokemon take 20 damage. So that's my way of getting through Budew and Pikachu EX. So if they keep Bedewing me, they're just gonna knock themselves out. I'm like, go ahead. So there are ways around it for
It's
sure.
a 30 HP, right? So it takes two attacks. Is that right?
Yeah, to attack.
Okay, sounds right. Okay, it's funny that you mentioned Pikachu EX. Was that popular? I know that deck was over or not overhyped, but it was hyped. Especially
It was
when last rotation when it was Lost Box Pikachu EX and
hmm.
stuff. I'm sure you know about that. I built that.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with it. Um,
Hmm.
but did you see a lot in regionals? Like just
It's
playing Pikachu
mainly
EX.
it's mainly just in Terra Box, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it myself, but I did saw on like Twitter and other people posting it that they're cooking up. It's kind of like the new Maridon
Mm.
with I believe I think it's Joltik, where you
Oh.
attack
Uh-huh.
and you accelerate energy from either your discard pile or your deck.
Mm.
So they run that with Pikachu now. But other than that, it's mainly in Terra Box.
Interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
A few more questions before I let you go. One thing that I know for sure is that Atlanta Regionals starts very early in the day and ends pretty late at night. I think around 8 or 9 p.m. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Mhm.
I think it's like what, nine? No. Is it 7 or 8 rounds in the beginning or the first day one? Is that correct?
It's 9 rounds.
9 rounds. Oh my God.
Yeah,
So they play. So, okay, that makes sense because you play all of your round robins day one.
yeah, yeah. And
Okay,
then there's
gotcha.
four. If you make day two, it's four more games
Hmm.
plus the top eight matches.
Man. Okay, so just in day one, there's already 9 games, which is what, 3 games. It could go up to 3 games each, so it could be like what, 20, 27 games, like possibly that you're playing. So my question to you is, how do you mentally reset between rounds during regionals?
For me, me and my group, we just try to have a meeting spot and kind of like relax slash talk about what happened in our games. Luckily, in Atlanta Regional, the door was extremely, or like the front door was like super close to like where like the actual door of the venue was.
Right.
So after every round, we were able to meet up outside, and I literally just like stand in the sun, try to get the like vitamin D inside of me,
Right.
and I make sure I just drink water. And then after every round too, I'm always like super nervous or like trying to stay hydrated, so I'm always drinking water in between rounds. So right after, whenever I finish my games, go straight to the bathroom, and then straight outside, meet up with my group, and just like having your friends around you, kind of relaxing, getting the sun, it calms you down. It calms you down.
Hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
That that is actually pretty lucky because I know maybe not all venues, they you don't people don't have the luxury to just go right outside the venue, go and then go outside of the actual event hall and
Mhm.
get some sunlight. So sounds like that's actually sounds like a good idea. But I forgot if Orlando Regionals was that close to the outdoors. Do you remember?
It was kind of, but we
Yeah,
still had to walk a farther distance because I remember I hated going outside for Orlando because it's a long
it's a
distance
long
walk.
walk. Yeah, and you
Yeah,
don't want to accidentally like miss your.
miss your turn. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like in Atlanta, I think it was probably so far my favorite venue. It was very spacious and bathrooms. There were a lot of them, and yeah, we can go outside whenever we want.
Dang. Man, you're selling it like I missed like the biggest like the
Yeah,
best
you
event of
missed
all
out. You
time.
missed out.
I was really 50-50. I wasn't gonna play, but I was just gonna go there with my girlfriend and just like play side events and just have fun and
Mhm.
do all that. But uh yeah, I got a little busy with work, so I didn't want to take that drive too and walk away
Yeah,
from work.
dude.
But side tangent, is it gonna be in Atlanta from now on, or is that just for this year?
They'll announce it, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
not for sure.
Oh, okay.
Or I'm hoping it comes back to Orlando, to be honest.
It'd be easier for
But
both of us, huh?
yeah, 100%. It's like 20 minutes from my house. I
That is
don't have to wake up
crazy. That
so
is so
early.
awesome.
Yeah, because for a regional, it's the first game starts at 8:30. So
Right.
every time I have to travel like out of state, we have to wake up like 2 hours ahead to make sure everyone uses the bathroom and whatnot,
Hmm.
and then call our Uber. So yeah, we wake up. I didn't sleep that much day one, but yeah, that's all.
Uh-huh. I know there's a Tampa crew that's building up. It's called Team 813. Um, they actually there's like a group of like 15 or 20 of them actually that just like rented a whole Airbnb and actually like
Mhm.
took it for like they didn't take but they rented it a day early so people can just be there and not have that
Mhm.
mental that well just like having to drive. I think it was almost like 12 hours like the day
Oh
before.
no,
Like
yeah.
you
I
you
mean,
took a day before, right, to stay there?
yeah.
Okay, okay.
I flew up. Half of my team drove. The
Oh, I
other
see.
half flew.
I see. And
Yeah.
you flew in like so it started Saturday. Did you fly in Friday or Thursday or?
Yeah. It was like Friday in the afternoon. I landed.
Gotcha. And then you had a place to stay on that Friday, right?
Yeah, Airbnb.
Nice, nice. Okay, last question before we move on to wrapping this podcast up. Oh,
Mhm.
thank you by the way for coming on and just talking. Before
No,
I
of
forget to
course.
mention that.
Yeah, I'm having a
Um,
great time.
yeah. Let's see. Okay, so I know you mentioned you want to get your Worlds invite.
Mhm.
What is your ultimate goal as a competitive player? Is it just to get that invite, or are you shooting for maybe even winning Worlds? Like, take me through that.
I don't think it'll be winning worlds. It's either making it to worlds or just winning like a big major regional slash international tournament. Because I think for me, I know where I stand as a player in terms of skill. So I mean, you know what? It could happen. It could happen. I could win worlds, but just making it to worlds or just winning a regional just feels like it's what I've been like training for the past 3 years. So we'll take it as that.
Hmm. And I think correct me if I'm wrong. If you actually win a regionals, you just instantly get your invite. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So you're knocking two birds with one stone right there.
Yes, sir.
Two goals in one.
Yeah. Are you top four at a international? You
Oh,
also get your world invite.
oh yeah. I knew there was like a top. I thought it was so regionals. You have to win. Like if you go second, you don't
Mhm.
get your invite. Is that right?
No, but you
Dang.
still get a lot of points
Uh
that
huh.
goes towards your world. So
Right. But they change it from like so for people who don't know, they change it from a hard cap or not a hard cap, but like
Mhm,
a hard like amount of points that you have to hit to get your
mhm.
invite to I believe. Can you remind me how many people can get invited?
Uh, top 125 players in each region. Well, for at least for NA, I'm not sure about other regions, but it was 100 top 125 players.
Mm-hmm. Which I
But I
would
think
assume is. Oh,
that's
good.
excluding all the people that won the regionals though.
Right. So
Yeah.
if you win a regionals and you're in the top 125, they'll probably just kick you out of the 125 and then move everybody
Mhm.
up one or something. That's probably how. I
Yeah.
mean, that sounds fair. I don't like they
Mhm.
shouldn't take two slots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh huh. So
But yeah, back then it was only 600 points.
uh huh.
But even to be the top 125, I think you have to be like around 700 to 800. Someone like calculated it already.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I was gonna say, so it sounds like it's a lot harder than just hitting that 600 cap.
yeah, a lot harder.
Uh huh.
600 was a very doable, but they also like got rid of some other stuff. Because like you can earn points at your local tournaments whenever there's like a cups or challenge. But I won't get too deep into that. Back then it was, I believe, they take your best 6 finish. Now it's only your best 4. I think the same with regional. I think they cut down like how many finish they take. So it's a lot harder this season.
Would you say it's better or oh you said it's harder, right?
It's harder.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I mean that. So I don't
It,
play competitively, but I know some people that are really trying to get their invite this year, and they said it's never been harder than ever to get an
yeah,
invite.
it's like if you're not traveling to every single like regional / events, and you're not doing well at those events too, it feels so like the journey is so far.
It feels bad because it kind of
Mhm.
de-incentivizes people who are, have a full-time job and like, have a
Mhm.
family to feed and taking care of people around them. Like they can't fly to every event and regionals just for the chance to do well in every single one. So it just
Mhm.
that's what people that's what people have been telling me. So if you're not like a full-time content creator doing this, and
Mhm.
you like for example AzulGG, I'm pretty sure he does that full time, right? He does content creation full
Yeah, he
time.
does.
So
Yeah.
it'd be easier for someone like him to get his invite because that's his job, instead of
Mhm.
someone like like a Poke Dad or
Yeah.
like someone that could just like come out of nowhere and just like explode the scene just
Yeah.
by winning a regional and stuff like that. It's like you have to do well in every single one, or like win. Like you have to win,
Yeah.
which feels really out of over 2,000 players in Atlanta. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like better off like trying to win a lottery or something.
No, I don't know. I'm sorry to get off tangent, but
Sure.
Azul, he told his viewers and everything that he's not going to go to that many regional this season. And the first regional that he went to, he won. So that guy just proves, like, if you're the best, you're the best. It is what it is. You don't need to go to all those regional.
Yeah. Sounds like you really look up to him, at least for like competitive TCG, huh?
Yeah, I definitely watch his stuff and follow him. I consider him like the GOAT of TCG.
He's pretty
Yeah.
good though. I learned a lot from him when I was really getting into it.
And he's just a funny guy too. That's why I like him.
Uh-huh. Okay, a few more questions before I let you go. One of
Mhm.
them is actually, I want to hear your opinion on this. What's your hottest take on the competitive Pokemon TCG community?
Competitive TCG community. For me, I just think because like for the TCG community competitively, everyone's on Twitter, and I think my hottest take is like, don't ever go on Twitter if you're trying to like find TCG info. It's just a bunch of trolls, bunch of like back and forth, especially like before a specific regional. You go on there, they're like, oh my god, this is the best deck. Oh my gosh, you need to look for this deck, and then you're just like second guessing yourself. And then there's a lot of dramas on there too. So my hottest take is stay away from the Twitter community.
You know what?
It
Like,
is entertaining though.
yeah, I was gonna say like if you really want to like turn your brain off and just like see stuff happen, then you go on
Hmm.
Twitter. But like if
Hmm.
you're looking for anything information wise, you're like 1,000 times better off on YouTube or something. Like like if you're going on
Yeah,
Twitter or X on like for like information about how to play better, you're already like in the wrong place.
yeah. But I feel like a lot of like the competitive players are on Twitter, like mainly compared to like Instagram or
Hmm.
even YouTube and all that other stuff.
Why do you think so?
I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Like I said, I've only been playing for 3 years, so I'm also kind of new to the community,
Hmm.
trying to fit in.
Speaking of Twitter, so side tangent, do you post deck lists and stuff on Twitter too, or are you just like on there just to see?
I mainly when I do post, it's mainly just how my tournament wins. So like
Mm.
if I do well, I'll probably post a deck list.
Hmm.
If not, I'm just always there, just like doom scrolling,
Like
seeing
lurking,
what.
seeing what's up with the
Yeah.
community. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah, because the most common post I get for at least the on Twitter on the TCG community, the Pokemon TCG community is I came fourth place in regionals. Here's my deck list. I see those all the
Yeah.
time. Or I got eighth. Here's my deck list and stuff like that. And for some, they perform pretty well compared to like anything else, like anything like information wise or something. Like I'm just like so curious on like why, I guess, and like can't that just be done in like a video, like something that you do? But can they?
I think that's why like I blew up too,
Yeah.
because like no one has done a video for the deck list.
Mhm.
They just post it on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I stand out compared to like other creators,
Yeah.
or just not even, yeah, other players.
I think the time commitment, it's probably a time commitment thing. Like they don't want to spend like hours recording and then editing all that, or even days to be honest. Like I know it gets pretty rough. Like content creation wise, it's a time sink. It feels weird because to say that because for like a 30-second or even like a minute video, you have no idea how long it could take. I'm speaking to the
Yeah.
audience. I know you do. I know you do, but I'm speaking to the
Cool.
audience. You have no idea how long it
Uh-huh.
takes. So
Yeah. Just think about it, like even like a deck list video, I need to put the cards in order.
yeah. Yeah,
It
get
takes a little
everything
bit
set
of
up.
time.
No, like
Yeah.
so that's probably so yeah. I probably agree. Like the amount of like work you put behind the scenes really shows in your videos because, well, not only is it like high quality video, it's just like the lack of people that are willing to do it because of that time commitment. If that makes sense,
Mhm.
that makes
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, to wrap that back. Don't go on Twitter for any like informational advice about Pokemon TCG. Go watch his videos. And by the way,
Yes.
I'll make sure to tag everything like your YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever you want on in the description, so you guys can check them out.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
Yep. And just one last thing, just so I can blow it up on the screen. Where can people find you? Where do you want people to find you?
Mainly on YouTube. It will be under the username Royalillest, or you can search up Pokemon Trainer Win. All my other social media should be Royalillest as well. Besides Instagram, it's royalillest.tcg. But yeah, YouTube is #1 place for me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. That was super fun. I was man, you have no idea how long I've been waiting to ask about Atlanta and how that went because I'm such a Pokemon TCG nerd, and I know you take it very serious. So thank you for coming on, and yeah,
Yeah.
talk
Thank
to
you
you
for
later.
listening, man.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
See ya.